There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits, or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.
I hope everybody's been having a good week with trading. It's been a pretty volatile week. I took some time off to kind of recuperate. But there's been some pretty good moves just in the market, from what I was looking at a little bit earlier. But let me get logged in so that way I can see everybody. Let's do this account. And I'm going to see y'all in just a second. Put some twos in the chat if you can hear and see my screen. Hear me, see my screen. All right, perfect. All right, so we're good to go. So, like I said, ever since last month, the markets have been, more volatile. We've adjusted a couple things, especially with our trade manager recommendations to accommodate for those, bigger movements in the market. We've been seeing more extended runs. So instead of having like your moves where, like, for example, here got one drive down, do you have this little weird drive down here? That's two. Usually it's three in a run. But as you see, we've been getting 4 or 5 runs without even, a real like pullback. This was kind of the only pullback that it had within 5 runs. So the market is being more decisive. And let's see, it's kicking me out. Interesting. Let's use this account. That's fine. We'll work it with this account. So the market has been more decisive as far as where it wants to go, how it wants to do things and whatnot. So, okay. So as our job as traders is to adjust, where the market is going. Let me see and make sure I'm still good. Okay. All right, so here's what I want to do. This is, like I said, this was the third week of the month. I talked about this in our Sunday call. The third week of the month, you don't really have a lot of heavy news compared to, third full week in the month. You don't have a lot of heavy news. This is kind of like your lighter news weeks. You're always going to have, orange folders and red folders, but you're not getting an army of red folders every third week of the month. Now, some of this is due to the fact, like if we go and look at the calendar, some of this is due to the fact that we have some bleed over because we had a good portion of like 4 trading days happen. So this is kind of like a tweener week, third, fourth week, because some reports are like the fourth Thursday or the fourth Friday of every month. But this is the third full week. So it's a little bit more heavy than a normal third week because we don't have, we have like our monthly reports coming out because a lot of times those come out on the fourth week. But the fourth week, we have like basically it's almost like a fifth week month. Like the month is kind of positioned quite well, so where you have 5 weeks. So especially like when it's more so based off of that Thursday. So in this, I don't know why it wants to do everything, my computer, but that's why we have a little bit more. Like for example, um, like budget releases, Fed speeches, a lot of that's fourth week stuff. But moving back to the markets, I want to focus on gold. Since I'm in my other account, gotta pull it up. So gold has been messing with this level since last week. We've been talking about this one level right here. It's one level we've been talking about. And we're back at that level again. Why is this level significant? Because in this zone here, you have the market make an extended move down. It's had its little pullback in between there, but the other aspect of why this is important is because this little zone is also considered like an accumulation zone. And if you take it into effect that it's been accumulating for almost 2 weeks, that's a lot of accumulation. And you look at, above, you look at below. And I think inherently gold is bullish, long term, because we're in a warring market, like basically to where there's wars going on. So gold historically has been bullish during times of conflict. So the other aspect of it is just looking at the chart itself. And if we see here, we have literally all of this space right here. All of this open space. So do I think, it'll go past that level right now? Maybe. But when it does, it's going to give us some great opportunities for it to, get into these areas here. And then we just play it zone by zone. Now, as far as Zeus, the market is determining a upward trend on the 15-minute. I like looking at the 15-minute when it comes to Zeus. And with the 15-minute on Zeus, you'll get a good mix of smaller entries and longer term entries when Zeus calls trades. So like for example, if we look here, we have the last 2 trades on the 15-minute. We had a maximum of, I think it's around 20 pips. Yeah, 20 pips. And this would have been a 100 pip run. The trade before it, as far as drawdown, you had hardly any drawdown, 5 pips, maximum drawdown, another 100 pip run. and it's just more so following the trend. Now, this was a counter move in that trend, so I wouldn't have traded that because even at this point here, just going back into the market was still pretty, bullish for the most part. Now you're seeing more greens than red. So, and then the previous trend was downward, but as far as the current trend, it was upward. So with that in mind, I'm only looking for, upward moves. Now this one here was, one of your moves that, would have, been a loss. But just following the trend in general will get you, your best looks. I like to follow, silver when I'm looking long term on silver. I'm more so on Zeus looking at the 30-minute. Now, you see here, silver, however, has been more bearish. You see there's bullish coming in because you read this from left to right. But silver's been more bearish. So if silver was to make a push down, which the candles do line up for a potential push down, and start getting more calls to the downward side, that's where I'm getting in. I'm seeing this area here. And let me kind of show you where I'm looking at. Like this area here is a great area for more than one reason. This is like your imbalance area if you're following institutional trading. And two, this area right below it, the 71 percentage level for Fibonacci. I like that. I always like that ratio. It's a lot of respect at that ratio. It's currently at that level now. And I can slide it up. Oh, that's not. Let's see if it'll let me move it. There we go. Like I can slide it up, be in that area, but that's where the market is currently at. You see there's a slight reaction happening. If I zoom in, you can see that reaction. So I want to see the follow through. I see the reaction. It's looking at this candle like this. I love when I see this candle, at a good zone. That means like, it really tried to push into that zone and it got rejected. If you want like a rejection candle, like to know what a rejection candle is, this is a good example. This is a bearish candle that was a very strong bullish candle at one point in this 30-minute section. So if it closes anywhere similar to that, I really like that area. And we'll look for our push down. Let me kind of go back to the 30-minute here. So, like I said, eventually it's going to get into that upward zone. But I'm not going to sit there and just be like, oh, that's the only thing that's available. I'm going to see what the market is telling me. And then, I'm going to react to it. Let me see. There are some other markets I want to kind of go over with briefly. Like you see, like all these markets right here, they're making extended moves now. Like, I think someone had told me about AUD Like, look at this, insane. Like I warned about the yen pairs 2 weeks ago. Way back here, and it was still making upward moves. But when you have like something like this to where it's denying the market, or it's refusing to correct itself. This is one of those instances where you just trade until the market changes. So the market's just gonna give you this give you this movement. Take it. So like, let me. Here it is. Man, that's a good trade. I did not trade silver during the Asian session, but that is a good trade. But where was I at? Let me not get enticed by this silver trade. Maybe if y'all want to be enticed by it. AUD that's where we're at. Where are you? All right. So like, let's look at AUD on the 5 minute. And like, when you find these little runs in the market, like this is like the definition of a freeway in the markets. So like, look at all of these buys. Like historically, like it hasn't made its move on this zone yet, but let me look at the zones previous. Like you got this one, no drawdown. Yeah, this one, like this one had this was his only dip in the whole week, was this dip here. Like before this dip earlier today, like there was no dips in the market for AUD But even still, like we do like this one here, you're scalping, that would have been a break even level. He wouldn't have hit that one. On this gold one, you probably would have hit stop loss, but the blue entry you wouldn't have. Let's see here. You had this level here. Did it hit that would have hit stop loss. What time is this anyway? Oh, this is Asia session. Why am I even? No wonder it's not winning. It's not in session. So like this is, London, New York. Needless to say, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades before. Let me put on the session break so you can see it, like when the Asian session starts. Like I could see it by time, but it may be a little bit hard for you to see it. Period separators. There we go. Let that load. So like this dip happened like right before Asian session. Like I don't really trade during the Asian session. Oh, it didn't load them. Yeah, it definitely didn't load. Hold on. 5 minutes. What time is it now? 4 hours after 20. So yeah, I think somewhere in here. Let's see. Asian session started right on that dip. Thing right there. I was 25 minutes after. So this dip was the start of Asian session. Like I don't trade around that time. Like from 1 hour before Asian session to 3 hours after Asian session starts, I don't trade. Now, this is slightly getting into my trading zone, but I don't really want to focus on that on this call. And then when was this? This right here, I want to say it was the start of Asian session. I don't know why this is not pulling up. I want to show it to y'all versus me just tell y'all. There we go. So like, look, this was Asian session. Like right, hour. So yeah, this was Asian session right here. Right, and then leading into London. So like none of these arrows I would have took. And then like I said, this dip here was the start of Asian session. Like I probably would have took this trade. I would have held my horses on that trade. I wouldn't even took this trade because it was too close to Asian session. But within my time frame of trading, you had one. Let me see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, not 10. 9 trades there. Oh, that was Asian session. So that one wouldn't have been it. I would have I wouldn't have traded this one. I would have traded that one. Like say if I'm just taking arrows, like like I said, I took a couple days off because I wasn't feeling too well. But like if I'm just heavy on Zeus and I'm seeing a move like this to where like the markets are just going in one direction, I'm not gonna be there trying to be the hero or be the guru and pick where it's gonna end. Be like, oh, it's gonna end at this exact price. It's gonna have a great reaction at this exact price. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do what the markets is telling and capitalize on it. These downward arrows on this move, that's a definite no. That's a counter trend move. Oh, that's counter trend move. I probably would have took a loss here. Wouldn't have took this arrow. This would have been a TP1. Like just over and over. Just milking the market literally. And like with stuff like this is where the Zeus on the go strategy is going to come into play. Because you're not going to be able to sit on your phone or your computer and watch Zeus, give you entries. But if you're on your phone on the go and you see the notification, you have a minute or two. When you get that notification, then you can qualify these trades and trade it literally as much as you want. Like don't trade an hour before Asian session or 3 hours after. So that's out. Maybe this is out probably. Yeah, I would have missed this move, but oh well, that's not my rules. That's not within my rule set. I'm not a Forex crackhead. So I'm gonna take what the markets is giving me. I'm not trying to worry about home runs. I'll hit doubles every time. If the home run wants to come, well, it can come. All right, here's another instance. U.S. dollar CAD is cooled off from the last 2 days, but another deal. Like from a market structure perspective, like look at this. You had your low, your higher low to your higher high. It made an equal low here. Made a lower high here, and then it made a lower low. It made a lower low. Lower high, lower low. And then here it made a higher high. But like I said, I need a higher low before I trade. Maybe I would have took a buy around here, but that's Asian session, so I wouldn't have been trading. And then London happens and this happens, so I'm back to selling. I'm right back to selling. Especially when I see this lower high. And then from there, let me not do that. And then from there, I'm just following the market. And there's going to be arrows on the 5 and 15 minute all in here. I wouldn't put the on the go strategy. I wouldn't do that for the 1 minute. Because you want to give yourself some time to look at your phone, open MetaTrader, and enter. For 1 minute you got to be on the charts to trade a 1 minute notification. You got to be on Zeus. But 5 minute, 15 minute, no problem. So any questions on any of that? Let's see. So it's like we're good there. Any markets I wanted to go over? I hadn't looked at the indices market. Let's see. Let's take a fresh look at that. Start with the US 30. 30. There we go. Let me just take a fresh look. Like I said, off the last couple days. Going to start trading again tomorrow with the session, just in time for the New York session. So, this is what I'm seeing. Like I said, I'm taking a live look at the market. I didn't know what the US 30's done in the last 3 days. So look, higher high, higher low, higher high. Just following the market. Higher high is at the same part here. The same part here where this higher low is. So US 30 pushes below that, then I'm thinking sales. And it would be great because, there's a lot of open space. In this on the downside. So once it breaks through there, maybe I go down to the 5-minute. Maybe I go down to the 5-minute, look for my moves, look for another move like this. Wait for the market to extend one more time to break the level. So, getting that extension down. Give me a pullback. I would love for it to look like that. Like a perfect, that's a beautiful flag pattern. Love for it to look like that. Right there. So give me that flag pattern or some sort of pullback. Give me some rejection back down and off to the races. That's what the market is telling me. I'm waiting for the market to tell it to me. I'm not trying to predict it. I'm not going to be like, oh, as soon as it breaks that level, that's it. That's what I'm going for. I'm not gonna sit there and put a sell stop. Some people might do it. Put a sell stop here. I'm not putting a sell stop on US 30. I'm gonna wait for US 30 to tell me what it wants to do, and I'm gonna be there for it. Let's see. Any other markets? Let me see if there's any questions. Nope. I don't know what happened to my trading view. Anything else look good? Yeah, tempted me with this gold and silver selling. Tempted me. Let's see here. Anything? All right. I like this. Right here. Give me a follow through. Give me a nice follow through on that. Why am I feel like, oh, it's just in the wrong area. Okay. Until the AUD USD. Until it shows me otherwise, I'm following the trend. USD JPY, same thing. Especially USD JPY. Like I've been talking about this. Like this has been absolutely insane. Like this move here. Like how much was this move? 3 weeks. 700 pips in one direction, hardly any pullbacks. Yep. Definitely wouldn't want to be on any arbitrage system off of that. Oh, this looks good. Let me see if the other pairs look similar. So it's on its own row. So, like here, this is why I'm liking this. I'm gonna show you. Maybe you could spot it before I fully explain it. Lower low, lower high, lower low, equal high, higher high. This is still the low. This is still a low right here. Until the market goes past this level, because it made a higher high. This is where we pay attention from, because that wasn't no real low off of that. That's not a low. Like, it didn't pull back. So, also you have this zone right here. Right in here. You slide it down just a little bit. Like that. Very clean. On top of that, oh man, this is my old account. Got my old Fibonacci's. But 61.8. That's not gonna work. I don't know why it's showing that. Let me do. Watch, it's not gonna work. Nope, did not work. All right, so that settings, style, wasn't even trading. This is like my trading view account from when I first started trading. I forgot. Good thing I still had it saved, because my other account just literally crashed on me. It's nostalgic a little bit, trading off of this, looking at this Fibonacci. All right, there we go. So 61.8 to 71. And give me some rejection off of that area, and we're good. We're good. If you want a little bit more confirmation from a price action standpoint, Zeus is one. But if you just want to do like this, remember we have, trading view is backwards, so I got to do 14, 7, and 5. There we go. But you see here, let me make it the same as on the go strategy. So green, red. All right. So green's getting above the red, opening up a little bit. Our full extension would look like this. Where are you at? So like, if we can get the full move, that would be awesome. And the full move will be looking something like this. Stop loss below. We do the 76 area there. It'll be like 78 on your chart, so kind of below that 78 zone, so 35, 40 pips. And if it got the full move, that'd be a 5-to-1 trade. Now I am perfectly fine with that trade. Now that's a trade I might take, because it's not it's GBP Swiss franc. It's not developing during Asian session. Like, it's just gonna stay there until London session starts. So that's something I do like. It's within trend. It's at a great zone. It's showing proper behavior at that zone. Like, it's during its Asian session when it was Asian session when it hit that zone, and it's consolidating. If we just get that push up to confirm the move, just a slight push up, maybe going to 30-minute, 15-minute. Get those candles that you like, probably 30-minute. get out of this little consolidation just a little bit. I'm fine with that. You can say it does that. You can slide your trade up to something like this, and you can move to the bottom of this zone. You can put your stop loss there, and say your trade is like that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Still be that 5-to-1 trade. That'd be like your final take profit. Like this is on 180 pips, so it's like a take profit 3 or 4. But like, you have it. I use a little bit of my old strategy. You take profit 1 at this 50 pips, 2, 3. Nice and smooth like that. You can set it in. You can set it in Zeus just exactly like this. So you got, you set it. You can open up GBP Swiss franc on Zeus. Just kind of preset your levels. It's a good trade. Trade at your own risk, but it follows my rules. And the way I would do it would be I would take this, put this on Zeus. Have my stop loss 35 pips. 35 pips stop loss. Take this TP1 at 45, or you can go 1-to-1 and put it at 35 just to, capture a little bit of the bag, and then, take profit 2, and the final take profit you can put at those other 2 levels. Take profit 2, you can go like 100 pips, 90, 100 pips. And then take profit 3, that 150 pips. You can kind of go right below it just to make sure you close it out. But that'd be a great trade. People like, oh, I don't want to, put in the multiple take profits in. Like, I just want to have like the same take profit every single time. Perfectly fine to do. You can follow the Zeus recommendations. Like, if I don't think GBP Swiss franc is one of them. Let's see. I don't think I put it as one of them, but it's a GBP pair. I can kind of use a GBP pair as a rubric. Oh, I did do it. Okay. So, kind of following that same mold, just slightly less. I have it at 30 pips here. Kind of adjusted it to 35 based on market structure. So you can kind of like either follow this. This is still good. This will still work. Perfectly fine. But like, you're a trader. You're an investor. This is not, second grade. You have free will. You can see what's going on. You've been in the education, and you know what tools you have. So, you can play it by those tools. You have this as a rubric, but when you see like, moves where it's like, hey, maybe I got to adjust a little bit. I'm manual, like I'm actually on Zeus trading it. I see this particular trade. I want to adjust Zeus to this trade. Do it. That's why it's there. And then once you take the trade, you don't have to look at it. You already set your parameters. You already know what's going to happen. It's either going to hit your stop loss or it's going to start going into your take profits. And that's what gives you freedom. Like, what I was doing, I had to, set an alert for when a trade hit a certain price level that equaled a certain take profit. So I had to calculate how many pips would it take to get to this price, and put an alert in, wait for that alert, then go on my MetaTrader, take my partial profit, then leave it again, maybe move up my stop loss. You don't have to do any of that. You already have it preset with the trade manager. So that'll make things a lot easier for y'all. That's all I wanted to cover. So I'll see you guys for tomorrow's New York session in the morning, and we'll focus more on some trades on that session. But if you have any questions, you can reach out. in the Zeus Traders chat on Telegram. Ask your questions. I'll be active tonight to where, I can answer some questions on Telegram. But, that'll be it for me. Y'all have a great night.
There is a substantial risk of loss associated with trading Forex, binary options, stocks, or equities, collectively, asset classes. Only risk capital should be used for trading. Trading in any asset classes is not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. No representation is being made that investors will make profits or will not sustain losses. Before trading in any asset classes, investors should consult with their professional broker, financial advisor, or financial consultant to determine whether trading asset classes is appropriate. Investors who trade in any asset classes should only do so if the capital used for this purpose represents funds that an investor can afford to lose without adversely impacting the investor's lifestyle. No trading strategy or methodology is without risk of loss. No trading strategy is risk-free, and no trading strategy can guarantee profits or freedom from losses. Investors risk losing the cost to execute any transaction, including associated commissions or fees. You should carefully consider whether trading in any asset class is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. None of the statements or materials in the Auvoria Prime chat rooms constitute a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell.